Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. A former George H.W. Bush official recently appeared on Tucker Carlson's podcast and reported that the United States has secretly built $21 trillion worth of cities and tunnels and transportation systems underground that are to be used in the event of a catastrophe, of an extinction, near extinction level catastrophe. Where all the billionaires and rich, all the important people of the world, of the United States, will get to hide out and continue their lives while the rest of us perish on the surface. Apparently, that's the story here. And I wouldn't be talking about this, right? Something like this, but it needs to be talked about because there's a lot of different people running around, theorizing, hypothesizing about what has been causing all these mystery booms throughout the decades. There's no answer for that. I mean, you have scientists hypothesizing, theorizing on what might be causing that, but we never get any straight answers, right? Never. We don't know. Nobody knows. There's no answers whatsoever. The federal government has no answers. What's causing these mystery booms? They continue today, right now. There's stories all the time that you'll see popping up in the news talking about mystery booms. Is it because they're using some sort of explosives underground to create these tunnels and networks, these underground caverns, these underground facilities where all the important billionaire people will be able to hide their asses while the rest of us suffer on the surface when the world comes to a near end here, when we're facing some sort of a potential extinction. They'll get to survive, but we won't. And on top of it, right, they don't tell us about this. They're spending 21 trillion, think about that, 21 trillion dollars in taxpayer money to save them, but not us. Think about that. It's a great example, right, of how absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's what it is. But anyway, let's start this off here with an article. This is from The Independent. The headline reads, United States has a $21 trillion underground network for only the wealthy to hide out in a near extinction event, official says. It says the United States has built a secret underground city costing $21 trillion where the ultra-wealthy can hide out during a near-extinction event, a former government official has claimed. Catherine Austin Fitts, who served as the Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President George H.W. Bush, made the shocking allegation on former Fox News host Tucker Carlson's podcast. A stunning $21 trillion in unauthorized spending occurred in the department between 1998 and 2015, according to a 2017 report released by Michigan State University economist Mark Skidmore. Skidmore's report has been prompted by Fitts referring to a report which indicated the Army had $6.5 trillion in unsupported adjustments or spending in fiscal year 2015. Given the Army's $120 billion budget, that meant unsupported adjustments were 54 times spending authorized by Congress. Typically, such adjustments in public budgets are only a small fraction of authorized spending, the report noted. While on the Tucker Carlson show, Fitts said she spent years investigating where the $21 trillion had gone and discovered there were 170 secret underground bases across the United States. And here's a quote from her. She says, "One of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base, city infrastructure, and transportation system that's been built," she said. "We have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems, including bases located below oceans," she claimed. "It was not immediately clear where the secret bunkers are located or who among the elite might have access to them should disasters strike. It's also unknown the scope of the bunkers or the features of everyday life they include. The bases would be used if a near extinction event were imminent or for the government to carry out secret projects, including a secret space program," Fitts claimed. Carlson noted he assumed such bases would only exist in Washington, D.C., to be used in the case of a nuclear war, to which Fitts responded, "Some of it is. It's preparation for catastrophe." So that's it. That's where we are with this one right now. We don't know. We don't know with absolute certainty whether it's true or not. But it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And this would explain the mystery booms, right? I mean, if they're doing tunneling secretly, right, doing all this tunneling, I mean, it's going to require all kinds of, I'm sure, earth-shattering explosions and things like that under the ground that's going to cause something like that. That could explain it, right? I think it would. But we don't know. I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could explain it. Anyway, let's talk about some of the mystery booms. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. Okay, this one here, the headline here on this one reads, this is from the Daily Star back in 2018. It says here on the headline reads, mystery booms across the United States sparks secret underground World War III preparation fears. And it says, the article reads, bizarre new footage has emerged from Cleveland, Ohio, United States, that shows a CCTV recording of one of these mysterious occurrences. Residents say they have become accustomed to these activities, but this one left many scared as pieces of their homes started breaking. Homeowners say the noises come from below the surface as floorboards shake, but no earthquakes or natural occurrences were reported at the time. And so now the event has got conspiracy theorists speculating whether there is a secret government program running underground. Some have even likened the idea to the 2005 hit movie The War of the Worlds, where an invasion strikes after aliens have been preparing underground for hundreds of years. The theory goes on to document that these incidents were first reported in the west of the country and have now spread to the east. They were first recorded in Arizona and have since been captured in Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Rhode Island. Okay, so you had that. And then just earlier this year, there was an article. Here, this is from Fox 25 out of Oklahoma, and the headline reads, mystery booms rock South Central Oklahoma, locals shaken and puzzled. It says here, people in South Central Oklahoma report a series of mystery booms hit the area Monday morning. Several community Facebook groups were abuzz about the loud noises. Some people said their homes and businesses shook with the noise. Others said it felt like a car was driving into their home. The booms were reported in Pauls Valley, Paoli, Wayne, Stratford, and Rosedale. People as far away as North Texas reported the booms. The USGS has reported no earthquakes in the area. However, Chief Meteorologist Jack Gerfen believes the loud booms might have been created by something known as a cryoseism or frostquake. Frostquakes typically happen after a period of drought followed by intense water saturation into the soil and a temperature drop. I hypothesis that it could be caused by secret tunneling underground by the United States, right? To create underground cities with underground tunnels leading and transportation systems connecting all of it. That's what it could be based on what Fitz is saying. We can't prove this. I'm sure more investigation needs to be conducted, but of course we're probably not going to get any answers from the government. They're going to lie to us. See, this is again, it's absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's what's going on here. These people are heartless putzes, right? And so they're setting things up so if anything happens, they're so important. Those people need to be saved. But the rest of us, hey, we're all gonna die on the surface. They won't even tell us about this. In fact, if there's a catastrophe heading our way, like some kind, let's say an asteroid. Say we find out an asteroid's heading to hit Earth, right? And it's gonna cause incredible damage. They'll all get to survive while we'll be on the surface here, suffering and dying, and watch our families destroyed in an instant. That's what they're setting this up for, and they're not telling you. That's the part that bothers me the most. They don't even tell you about this. They just took your taxpayer dollars, $21 trillion, and put it into this project, right? And they're going to save their asses, right, while your ass gets fried. That's what this is all about. If there's a nuclear cataclysm, a nuclear catastrophe, for instance, if there's a nuclear war, they'll get to live, you get to die, and the problem is, here's the problem I have with that. If there is a nuclear war, it's going to be their fault, right, that there's a nuclear war. But they still get to live. They get to play their little games then underground, right? I hope to God if it does happen, here's what I could say. If this is true, right, and we all end up perishing from some sort of incredible catastrophe and they all somehow survive in their underground facilities built on taxpayer dollar funds, right, and somehow I hope they get attacked by some unknown cryptid living in there, or attacked by rabid bats or something like that. I hope whatever their fate is, I hope it's ugly and, for all we know, right, if you think about it, maybe they'll turn into cannibals like in H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, those, what were they called, the Morlocks. Maybe they'll turn into those kind of monsters. They'll be eating each other and looking for any survivors on the surface and trying to chew them down. This is an ugly situation. It just goes to show you that there's a lot of people who are part of this human race who I don't think they're human. I really don't think they're human. To be able to do something like this, if this is true, if it's true, and it wouldn't surprise me if it is true, right? There has to be an explanation for those mystery booms. This is the best. If this is true, that this would be the best explanation. That she said there's 170 underground facilities that have been built, And they're going to be used to save the important people, the important billionaires. They're so important to this planet, right? Because if I tell you what, folks, I'm losing faith. I've lost a lot of faith in the human race. I think it totally sucks a lot of times. I know there's a lot of good people out there, but unfortunately we're led by a lot of bad people. We let bad people lead us. We let bad people in charge. That's what's happening here, right? If this is true. But I'll tell you what, even if it's not true, we got bad people. Always bad people in charge. Rich people who serve corporate interests all the time. They don't care about the people that put them in their offices, right? They just don't care. I can't stand this. And this is not only here in this country either. Apparently, there's mystery booms in India and other countries too. That this has been reported. So maybe they're building their own network of underground caverns, underground cities to save their important people too. Forget about the other people. Forget about the regular Joes out there. Oh, they don't need to survive, right? They're not important, but we are. We are. That's what these people are creeps. Bunch of creeps, if it's true. But you know what? Here's the thing: we'll probably never find this out, right? None of us have that power. We've given these people the power. They're obviously abusing it, and they're not going to tell us the truth. They don't tell us the truth about the aliens, right? They don't tell us, right? They've been gaslighting us. They continue to gaslight us. It's like, all it is what we get from these people is nothing but theater, right? I'm just so tired of it. We have the absolute proof. What does that matter? It doesn't seem to matter, right? They just pretend it's not there. Let's just not even acknowledge it. Let's not acknowledge it. A bunch of creeps. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna move on. I thinking about that, it got me all worked up, throughout the day when I saw that, and it just bugs me, and it's not surprising. Anyway, I want to get caught up on some of the polls I have on Spotify. And I guess we're going to start off with for the episode, Terrifying E.T. touches Swedish man causing lifelong injury, also Vegas alien update. I asked this question: how much do you agree with the analysis of the Las Vegas alien incident as presented by crime scene expert Scott Roeder? Okay, 31 votes so far with 12 days left. 2 people, or 6.5%, say they don't agree at all. You have to keep in mind, I just want to stop there for a second. There are certain people who follow my channel, right, who hate the stuff I'm saying, but they keep following me anyway. And, but they hate the stuff I'm saying. They hate the truth that they're hearing from me. But they continue to follow this channel. And sometimes they get comments from these idiots, and sometimes they vote too on these things. They just don't agree with any of this stuff that we're talking about here. But for some reason, they can't help themselves. They have to keep coming back. They keep coming back. Okay, so 2 people only. So 7 people, or 22.6%, say they somewhat agree, while the vast majority, 22 people, or 71%, say they agree very much. So with that in mind, I say sorry to the 2 people who don't agree at all. All right, for the episode, the episode I called the Las Vegas PD with some questions about the alien incident, and I asked this question: do you believe aliens were captured in the redacted body cam footage of officers who investigated the Las Vegas alien incident? Okay, 31 votes so far. 7 people, or 22.6%, say no, while 24 people, or 77.4%, say yes. If I was forced to give a response to this, I would have to say, I'm going to say no. I don't think that they were, but that doesn't make me right. I hope that there were. It would be great if there were. I don't think it matters if that we already have the proof anyway. It doesn't really matter, but it would be great if they were. But I don't think they are. I don't know why they're withholding that, but it could be. But I don't think we're going to see aliens in that. I think it's I just don't think. But why I want that footage, I want to be able to compare it with the other footage, right? The footage, the cell phone footage. I want to look at side by side to see how things look when they went into the backyard later on compared to what it looked like, an hour earlier. And then that way to me, right, that'd actually even be better in a way, because then you could say, look at what you see here in the cell phone footage, all of a sudden it's not there in the body cam footage. So that would actually help. That would be better, I think, in a way. But at the same time, it would be fantastic if there were other aliens we saw more aliens actually in the body cam footage. But I don't think we're going to see that. I don't. Then again, what do I know? I don't know. Until you see it, right? Until we have no idea why what could possibly be in there until you actually see it. We'll see. Okay, for the episode, probability of the Vegas alien incident being real is greater than 99%, says ChatGPT. I asked this question: will the revelations of ChatGPT regarding the Vegas case finally help push it into the mainstream? 40 votes so far. 18 people or 45% say yes, while a majority, 22 people or 55% say no. Yeah, I agree with the majority. No, I mean, this is being suppressed. Every which way it's being suppressed. Now, I have taken some steps. I want to just point this out before we go on. I've actually contacted my local representative. I sent a very detailed letter, and I'll probably share that letter in an upcoming episode. I want to give them a chance to respond. I have a very detailed letter requesting my local representative to, at least if he's not interested in this incident, I provided some links. I explained the entire story. Actually, I actually called up the office. I talked to this guy, one of the guy's staffers, and I'm looking to either have a meeting with them or at least get this information before the UAP caucus in the House, that bipartisan group that is interested in this. I want them to look at it, but I'll talk about that letter in an upcoming episode. We'll see what comes of it, if anything. Okay, for the episode, desperate debunkers resort to deleting Wikipedia biography pages of noted UFO disclosure advocates, I asked this question: what word best describes the actions of the debunker cult to delete Wikipedia pages of UFO disclosure advocates? 32 votes so far. Okay, 0 people say stupid. 1 person, or 3.1%, says ignorant. 2 people, or 6.3%, say is obvious. 7 people, or 21.9%, say pathetic. And then 11 people, or 34.4%, say telling, while another 11 people, or 34.4%, say desperate. Yeah, every one of these words is suitable, I think. But, which one you like better? Which one would you use? Yeah, pathetic, stupid, any one of them. They all apply. Okay, for the episode, despite execution threat, whistleblower exposes immaculate constellation UFO monitoring program. I asked this question: once the UFO cover-up finally ends, what should happen to the people responsible for it? 37 votes so far. Okay, 8 people, or 21.6%, say nothing, free pass. 12 people, or 32.4%, say other. I don't know what other is. They didn't, they didn't really provide anything in the comments. And then the majority of people, 17 or 45.9%, say prosecution/prison. I'm actually going to agree with the minority here. I want to get disclosure, and I think that nothing, free pass is the way I would go. I would offer them immunity. Actually, it already has been offered to them, and it was apparently refused because that UAP Disclosure Act was basically gutted, and that included that language in there, but now it's not in there. They didn't want that to pass for some reason, because then I believe the reason that they fought against that, because by allowing that to pass, it makes the to the public, it would look like that's almost an admission that this is what the reality is. They don't want people to think that way, so that's why they fought against that, including that language in that bill. But at the same time, the people who started the cover-up, like I said, I stated many times before, the people who started this cover-up, they're all dead, all of them. Unless there's one of them that survived, and he's about 135 years old right now, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. So the people that were read in and brought in later on, right, that this thing was already rolling, right? So the people who are there now, the people who are responsible for the cover-up right now, right, this was something that was started by people who are long dead. So that's why I say give them a free pass, and let's just get disclosure over with and just move forward and forget about this. But at the same time, that doesn't make me right either. Maybe I'm being too nice. Maybe that's too generous on my behalf, because majority of people say prosecution/prison. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Anyway, moving on. For the episode, it's the 2-year anniversary of the Vegas alien incident. Many are still blind to its significance. I asked this question: have you ever tried to convince any family members or friends that the Las Vegas alien incident was a real event? 31 votes so far. Let's see. 2 people, or 6.5%. Only 2 people, or 6.5%, say yes successfully. 6 people, or 19.4%, say yes but failed. 9 people, or 29%, say yes somewhat successfully. And the majority, 14 people, or 45.2%, say no. I would have to go with, for myself, there was a lot of people who I showed this stuff to, people who have been longtime skeptics, and they accepted it. There was a lot of people in my family who made fun of this over the years, joked around about it, but when they saw the evidence, when I presented it to them, they recognized that it meant something, that this really shows that there are aliens here, and they accepted it. But I still have to say somewhat successfully, because I know that there might be a couple of stragglers in there, right, that might not have accepted it, that really didn't say much. So I would say yes, somewhat successfully. But I think the people who don't, they're just not interested. They just don't care. I really believe that. But no matter what, it's real, as everyone knows. Okay, and finally, let's see what was the last one I did here. For the episode, chaos erupts after Elizondo presents UFO photo to Congress that gets immediately debunked. I ask this question: does it seem to you sometimes that not only are debunkers gaslighting the community, but disclosure advocates are doing the same thing? 39 votes so far with 23 days left. 3 people, or 7.7%, say no, while a majority of people, 36 or 92.3%, say yes. Yeah, I agree with the majority here. That's what it seems like to me. I think that we're being gaslighted by just about everybody at this point. We really are. They have their own agendas, a lot of these people, as I talked about before. I'm still fans of some of them, right? But at the same time, obviously, they're not being totally forward here as they should be. They're withholding some information, and we know this for a fact. Some of them don't even, they say they can't talk about this, they can't talk about that. Oh, I can't tell you about this. They can't. We're at the same time, there's other things out there that they could be doing, and they're not. We could actually have this whole thing come to an end really quickly. A presentation in Congress during a hearing with some Pentagon officials, a presentation that lays out that whole Vegas case, that shows that there's no question about it, that aliens were involved in that incident, right? At the end of it, you demand an explanation. You say, look, there's no question about this. There's aliens here. You're going to tell me with almost $1 trillion budget that you don't know anything about this? Right? That's what you do. That's how you get to the bottom of this. That's how you end this cover-up. You put them on the spot with absolute proof, and then let them squirm. They're going to have to answer. They're going to have to tell you the truth at that point. Or maybe they won't, but whatever the case, everyone's going to know that they are lying at that point. So that's where I'm at with it. That's why they should do it. And as for this possibility that there's $21 trillion that has been spent on underground cities and transportation systems to save the ultra wealthy from catastrophe, while letting us fend for ourselves on the surface, to me, right, that is, if this turns out to be true, I'm losing faith in humanity. These people, right, billionaires, right, they come here, they're living the American dream. They make $1 billion somehow, but yet somehow they need more tax breaks. The billions of dollars they have is not enough. They want more tax breaks, right? And on top of it, they're spending our tax money, $21 trillion, to build underground cities to save their asses in the event of a giant catastrophe. That is absolutely absurd and totally, absolutely wrong. And they're not telling anyone about it, right? And if it is true, and say the mystery booms, the reason for those mystery booms is because of they're constructing this secretly and not telling anyone about it, and people are wondering what's going on. Why is my house shaking? Right? Making fools out of us, making fools out of everybody. It's disgusting. I'll just tell you right now, it's disgusting if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but again, I think it's worthy of talking about. This is a person who had a high position in the George H.W. Bush administration making these statements now, who has done some research on this for a long time, and she's making this statement now, and it sounds plausible. And again, we just remember this: the United States Department of Defense for years now, they keep failing on when they have audits. There's money that's unaccounted for all the time. It's just unacceptable, totally unacceptable, and it just makes me sick in my stomach. It really does. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, you should let everyone know that you're doing it and tell everyone, hey, everyone's going to be invited to hide out here if some sort of a catastrophe is headed our way. If there's some sort of an asteroid going to hit the planet, but it's not going to destroy everything, maybe we need to spend 20 years underground and then we'll be able to come back out again. But no, only those people will get to do that, right? That's what they're doing, and it's not right. That is not right one bit, especially when you don't tell anyone about it and you're using their tax dollars to construct these kind of facilities. That is totally wrong, again, if it's true. Anyway, I want to say this: thank you all for joining me. Until next time.